Hey everyone, my name is Gymnast and welcome to my first episode in my Minecraft Hardcore series. In this video, I'm going to attempt to survive 50 days in Hardcore Minecraft. Even though this may seem like an easy task and you may have seen other YouTubers survive 100, 1,000, or even 4,000 days in Hardcore Minecraft, I can assure you that this is no easy challenge. With over 15 hours of gameplay and a lot more in editing this video, I hope that you can see how much effort I put into my videos. So if you go on enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe, it's free, and you can always unsub later. Now with that out of the way, let's see if I can make it to 50 days in Hardcore Minecraft. So I started off my day by making a new hardcore world. This was actually ended up being like my 5th or 6th attempt, so it had been a while. Now according to Minecraft it is actually day 0, so we're going to start off the Minecraft on day 0. So the first thing we did was we started by setting our spawn so we didn't forget it, and went into mining some trees. We were going to be doing a lot of tree mining in this episode series, but that is pretty much what we started to do to start trying to get some wood tools out of it, and then we went into the mines to get some stone as well. So I crafted a pickaxe and then used that pickaxe to get stone, and then made the stone tools, which is pretty much what you need to start off a new world. So I then started to get some more coal because this would be necessary for just doing all the things I was going to need to be doing at the very beginning stages, and in this cave that I found the coal, I ended up finding my first mob. And I easily took it on, and I ended up getting the Monster Hunter achievement. I then started mining some more iron, getting as much as possible, and it was super nice. This cave was actually pretty generous in the amount of iron that was inside of it. And so yeah, that's kind of what we did. And then as I was in the cave, I found another skeleton, which actually was super scary because it got me down to 2 hearts, and I didn't have any food to regen. So I went up to the top to get some more food from the cows, because this would allow me to get my health back so I didn't die. And through the night, I started crafting some armor and some iron tools. This was going to be super nice at the beginning stages, and I actually almost died a couple times on day 0, getting down to 1 heart and 2 hearts pretty regularly. I then spent the rest of day 0 exploring a little bit, and I ended up finding a village on the end of day 0. So by the end of day 0, I ended up having full iron armor and a few iron tools, which was super nice. So on day 1, I started by looting the village, taking all the hay bales for food, and started looting the chest and stuff, and by the end of the day, I pretty much had all enough food for the rest of this series, with a little under 4 stacks of bread. I then started by mining a bunch of trees because I needed some wood to start building my house. I wanted to make a house that wasn't going to be super terrible. I wanted to make it pretty much last a while and look pretty nice. I don't really want to make any dirt houses in this series, so I started off by laying the floor plan out of birch. I wanted to go with a dark and light theme for this build because I thought it might look pretty nice. And on the end of day 1, I started by adding some areas for the first layer and some doors and some spots for some windows, which I was going to add later on. And I decided to add these little roof things. I thought it might look pretty cool, but I actually ended up running out of wood. So on day 2, I started off by mining some more wood for my house because, you know, we need some more of that. And so I finished by putting the stairs on the roof, and I think it looks pretty cool. I then added some columns on it and started adding a roof to the first floor. I wanted to make this 2 stories so that it didn't feel too small, and so on day 2 I started by making the second story, and I also added a little balcony because I thought it might look pretty nice. I then also made some more spots for some windows, and this is what the house looks like on the end of day 2. So I think it looks pretty cool. On day 3, I started off by adding a roof to the building. I used birch because I wanted to continue that light and dark theme, and I thought it looked pretty cool. And that's what the little outline of the roof looks like for now. But next I wanted to add some windows because this house wasn't going to be complete without it. So I went on a scavenger to try to find some sand because I thought it might make the house just look that much nicer. And I also grabbed some wood as well because that was just going to be necessary for the rest of this build. I then also put in the wood glass panes because it was a little more resource friendly, and started by taking the new wood that I had gotten and build some columns on the roof. I thought it might look pretty cool having 3 different types of wood in the house, and so yeah. And then on day 4 I started off by finishing the roof on the house and added some more windows and finished off the windows of the second floor. And this is what the house looks like on the end of day 4. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Now the next thing I wanted to start building was a little area to do my mining. I just kind of took a bunch of the leftover materials I had from my house and kind of skimmied it around the area, trying to make it look kind of abstract but not at the same time. And yeah, that's kind of what I did in day 4, did some terraforming the land to try to make it look kind of get blended in, and then I got inside and started mining to start my mine to all the way down to Y level 11 so I could start getting some of those nice diamonds. At the beginning of day 5, I started off by finishing the inside of my mine. I took a bunch of blocks I had gathered from stone and whatnot and and decided to just kind of randomly spread them around the area because I thought it might look cool for an entrance into my mine. I took some gravel and some diorite and some of the little stone things you find in the mines, and that's kind of what I did. Just place it around, and this is what it ended up looking like on the outside. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and then on the inside this is what it looks like, and I just added some torches to try to prevent some mobs. I then took the stone that I had got and finished the roof, placing the last little bit of stone. I really like the look of stone stairs for a roof in a house. And yeah, I then also spent the night on day 5 mining, but sadly didn't really find much of anything except for iron and coal. On day 6, I started off the day by terraforming some land for my next project. In order to feed myself throughout these series, I wanted to make sure I had a sustainable farm which would allow me to get as much food as possible. So I started off by clearing a small area of land and doing a little bit of terraforming to make it big enough for my farm, because I didn't want to have a little small farm, but I wasn't going to make it huge either. So I started off by laying out a little layout for my farm. As you can see, just kind of placing it. If you didn't know, you can actually do a 9x9 radius with one single source block of water, which was pretty cool. So that's what I basically used for my farm here. So that's kind of what I did at the beginning of the day, and then I started off by going into the mines, and I actually ended up finding some coal and some iron in the nearby cave. And yeah, that's what I did on day 6. On day 7, on the end of the week, I started off by planting my first seeds. I got some potatoes and some seeds in there for some wheat, and then I also did a little design which is pretty easy to do, but it actually maximizes your capacity for the amount of sugarcane that you can use. And I started a little sugarcane farm for my farm. This was going to be super useful for the future, as it would allow me to get maximum enchants for my gear that I get from mining. So I then also used some bone meal that I had gotten to make the farm a little bit bigger, and then took the rest of the dirt that I had gotten to try to terraform the land a little bit more, because I didn't want to see all those big wide gaping holes, which I actually ended up missing some of them, which you'll see later. Then I went and spent the rest of the time in the mine. I ended up finding a good amount of different stuff this time. Found some lapis and some redstone and some iron, which was pretty nice because I hadn't had any of that yet. And so yeah, that's what I did on the end of the first week of my Minecraft Hardcore series. So now let's go on into day 8. On day 8, I started off the day by finishing my farm. I started working on my sugarcane farm, trying to finish it up, trying to get the layout all correct, which actually took quite a while, but in the end I was able to get it all right and just had a couple spots missing from the sugarcane and the water. I then started working on a border for my area because I thought I would make it look cool while I was at it, so I just took a bunch of random items I had and started making it look as nice as possible. I also had some wall pieces, so I added that and some doors so that I could keep mobs out of my farm, which would make it last ultimately longer. So yeah, that's kind of what I did on day 8, just worked on my farm. And then on the end of day 8, I started spawning phantoms, so I got some sheep and got to bed for the first time and got some sleep. On day 9, I started by finishing the farm, putting on some more decorations and doing some more terraforming on the land just to make it look a little bit nicer. I didn't want to have any extra holes laying out of area, so I tried to make sure to get all of it. I then used my shovel to make these pathways, which I think looks pretty cool inside of the area. I then took some more stone brick walls and put it in to keep unwanted visitors out. I figured 2 blocks high would be nice, and it makes it just look a little bit more safer. And then I added some torches. I then went into the mine and actually got the hot stuff achievement with a bucket of lava, and I actually ended up taking it back up with me and used it as a fuel source for my furnace. This was going to be super nice, and on the end of day 9 I actually ended up getting 3 diamonds, which was super nice, so I could get a diamond pickaxe. On day 10, I started off the day by mining some more trees. I figured I might need a little bit more wood for my next building project, so that's kind of what I did. I did a little bit of mining of the dark oak and went and tried to find some trees that were far closer into the forest. And then I finished the day off by mining some more grass, trying to terraform the land for my next project I was going to build. I needed a big flat area, and then at the end of the day, I decided to make a new diamond pickaxe and went into the mine to get some obsidian so that I could make an enchantment table and another portal. On day 11 through 13, I pretty much spent a lot of the time terraforming. Pretty much on days 11 through 13, I was just placing and breaking a bunch of dirt and grass, and then finally on day 13, I started by placing some fence gates to start making my farm. I wanted to make an animal farm so I could get a good amount of food, and I could start getting leather for some bookshelves for enchanting and stuff, and it's always nice just to have a little animal farm, so that's pretty much what I did on the days of 11 through 13. On day 14, at the end of the week, I started off the day by getting some animals for my new farm. I got 4 sheep and bred them and ended up getting the parrots and the bees enchantment, which was pretty nice. I then went to go get some chickens because those would be pretty useful for getting eggs and stuff like that, and I could also use them for feathers. And then I got a bunch of cows, which would be super useful so I could get that leather for the good old enchantment table. I also bred them as well just to try to get as many as possible, and I went back into my farm getting some wheat and some seeds for some more breeding as well, and then I also got some potatoes for food and some sugar cane for enchanting. On day 15, I started off the day by mining some clay because I could use it for a future build, and pretty much that's what I did in the morning. I then pretty much spent the rest of the day mining trees and trading with villagers, and yeah, that's what I did on day 15. On days 16 and 17, I started off by making a little area to put my villagers. This would make it easy to trade with them since they wouldn't be able to escape, and it would just allow me to make sure they would never leave so I could trade with them. I then went to my farm to get some wheat, potatoes, and some sugarcane so that I could use it to trade with my farm, make some more babies with my animals, and get some more food. I then took the seeds that I had gotten from my farm and used them to breed the chickens, and I tried to see if I could get the chicken to grow a little faster, but it didn't really work. I then used the wheat as well to make some more cows and some more sheep, and then I spent the rest of the day mining some wood just to try to get it so I could trade with the villagers. And as I was mining, I actually found some more diamonds, but I only got 2 of them so I could get some more enchantments. On days 18 and 19, I pretty much did the same thing both days. I started off the day by mining some trees to get as many sticks as possible so I could trade with the villagers and try to get as many cool things as possible. I also did a lot of farming, getting some wheat, some potatoes, and some sugarcane, and then used that to trade with my animals to try to get them to breed more. And then I also enchanted my diamond pickaxe, getting silk touch, efficiency 4, and a breaking 3, which is pretty cool. I then went into the mines and used it to test out that silk touch. On day 20, I once again started off the day by mining a bunch of more trees to try to get as many sticks as possible so I could use them to trade with villagers. I then went to my villagers to get some more emeralds, and I took a lectern to try to get a mending trade with the villager, and on my pretty much like 5th or 6th try, I actually ended up getting that mending trade on my librarian, which was pretty nice so I could use it to put on my tools so they would never break. Pretty much the only thing important that happened on days 21 and 22 is that the first thing I did was buy a mending book. I then spent a bunch of times in the mine to try to get level 30. I then used that level 30 to get a fortune 3 and breaking 3 pickaxe. I added a mending enchantment to my silk touch pickaxe. I then mined up all the diamond ores that I had gotten, getting a total of 28 diamonds, and used those diamonds to get full diamond armor. On day 23, I pretty much just spent the day in the mines trying to get some more diamonds so that I could get full diamond tools and just get some more enchantments on my items because I thought it might be useful in the future. On day 24, I started off the day on a new project. I took my shovel that I had recently upgraded to efficiency 4 and took it to do some more terraforming, which was pretty nice now that it was so much faster. I pretty much just did a bunch of terraforming using all the dirt that I had gotten throughout day 24. I then started working on my next build, building a roof and some walls. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite build, but it works for what I'm gonna be using it for, and this house was actually in my way, so I pretty much took it down. On day 25, I started off by working on the building again, trying to finish it as much as possible. I started by making the sides of the house, trying to make it look pretty nice, and then I started working on a second layer for it. I didn't want to make it a super tall building, so I decided to go with a little in the middle kind of walls, which would help make it not look super large, but at the same time add as much space as I need. I then started working on the interior, as you can see right now, but sadly it did end up changing pretty much a lot, and this is not going to be the final version of the inside, but this is what I pretty much did on day 25. Pretty much the only relevant thing that I did on day 26 was finish the roof on the house just to make it look a little bit nicer. On day 27, I started to work on the interior. I wanted to make a place that looked nice but was also very productive in my managing with the villagers. I started by adding a second layer which would help with space so that I could make more villagers fit in the area, and then I also decided to demolish the underside of it because I didn't like how it looked, and yeah, that's pretty much what I did on day 27. On day 28, I finished working on the interior of the house, adding the second layer and adding some beds for the villagers so they could sleep at night, pretty mumuch tearing down and putting in the rest of the area and trying to make it look as nice as possible. And yeah, that's probably what I did for day 28, was just work on the interior of the house. On day 29, I also started to add some windows into my house. I figured it might look pretty cool just to add some windows, and it might open up the area a little bit, just making it look that much nicer. So I finished adding some windows, doing some little building side inside the building, just to make it look a little. On day 30, I finished working on the villager area, making the outside look a little bit nicer by adding some brushes as well as terraforming the land just to make it look a little bit nicer. And then this villager hut was in the way, it was connecting to my house, so I decided to take it down, taking that white terracotta from it. You may think it's pink, but it's actually white terracotta, and yeah, that's pretty much what I did on day 30. On day 31, I started off by getting some food from some more mobs because I needed some food because I was about to run out of food. I then on the way ended up finding a bunch of dogs and I got my bones so that I could breed them. I ended up getting around 3 dogs that day, which was pretty cool, and I took the meat that I had gotten to breed them. I then spent the rest of the night on day 31 in the mines getting some diamonds, and ended up getting 15 or so diamond ores, and out of that ended up getting around 48 things of diamonds, which was pretty cool. Then on day 32 through 33, on day 32, I started off by fighting some pillagers, but my dogs pretty much handled them for me, and because I had that bad omen effect, I did not want to start a raid, so I got a milk bucket to get rid of it. I then took my 30 levels and got a Smite 4 diamond sword, which I wasn't pretty happy with, so I grindstoned it. I then started working on a new project which was going to take a lot of stone, but it was going to be pretty necessary. It was going to be a staircase to go super high in the world, so that I could eventually make a mob farm up here, which would hopefully help getting more XP. So yeah, that's kind of what I did on the end of day 33. On day 34, I pretty much spent the entire time trying to get a villager to trade for mending, but sadly I never got one. I then spent the rest of the night in the mines trying to get some more diamonds, but sadly I didn't find any, and yeah, that's pretty much what I did on day 34. It was a pretty chill day. On day 35, I took that stone that I had gotten from mining and started using it on the project as well, and then I spent some time also doing some tree mining, and then I also spent some more time in the mines to try to get some more stone. Then on day 36 through 38, I started day 36 by adding some stairs to my mine because it was going to be really annoying to not have any, and that's pretty much what I did on the beginning of day 36. And then on day 37, I started off by making my new project. I needed a lot of stone for my project, so I figured I was going to make a quarry so I could get a ton of extra stone. So I decided to make it also a cool build, so I wanted to make it a giant circle. So I started off by taking some grass and making a big giant circle in this area because I wanted it to look super cool, and this is what it looked like on the end of day 38. As you can see, that outside ring is how big the circle is, and eventually I'm going to make it a kind of like divot, as if like a comet hit the earth, and it'll make more sense later, but yeah, that's what I did on day 38. Then on day 39, I decided I wanted to go to the Nether to get some more XP, so I got my gold boots, made my portal, and then I decided to go into the Nether for the first time in this world. It was super scary because I knew if I messed up at all, I would die, and I eventually got in, which was pretty awesome, and decided to get some quartz because that was what I really needed. Quartz is really high in XP, which is super nice. I then decided to go back to the overworld, and for some reason it spawned me super far away from where my other portal was, but I then went back into there and shot a gas because it was trying to fire at me, and somehow got returned to the cinder, which was pretty cool because you can pretty much only get that if you knock the fireball back at the last. I then enchanted my diamond sword and got sharpness 3 and breaking 3, and then went back into the Nether to get some quartz. On day 40, I started off the day by mining my quarry. I wanted to get down to that stone layer as fast as possible so I had easy access to stone. I started by using my shovel, which was super nice because it was efficient now, so it was super easy to mine, but I actually almost ended up breaking it, but luckily I didn't. I then went to my villagers and ended up buying 3 mending books, which was super nice so I could put it on my pickaxes and maybe even some of my armor. But then I went into the Nether to try to mend my shovel because I was about to die. Then day 41, I started the day by working on my farm, just trying to get some more wheat and some more carrots and whatnot because I wanted to get some more food and try to breed my villagers. And then I went over to my animals as well and tried to give them some of the potatoes and stuff because, you know, they could always use some love. And yeah, day 41 was pretty much a kind of chill day, just kind of messed around with the farm and villagers. And yeah, that's kind of what... On day 42, I spent the day working on my mob farm using the stone that I had gotten from the quarry the day before, and then I went back to the quarry just to get some more mining done because I needed some more stone for the next day. Then on day 43, once again, I spent the rest of the day mining in the quarry, just trying to get as much of stone as possible, and I actually ended up making it to the stone layer, which was pretty nice. I then took that stone and started working on top as well, starting on the mob farm area and trying to make a big half circle platform. It didn't look too bad, but I also could do better, which eventually I do get better at making circles, but yeah, that's what happened. Then on day 44 as well, I also worked on it, just trying to get this done as fast as possible. possible because day 50 was super near, and I also started building the tower, and as you can see I'm just kind of placing all the blocks and working on the mob farm. A mob farm takes a lot of stone, but because I had the silk touch pickaxe I could easily make it out of stone bricks, which I think looks much nicer. Then on day 45 I pretty much did the same thing, working on the quarry and then going to the mob farm, placing a bunch of blocks and then going back to the quarry to get more of them because I always was running out of it. I then started building up the blocks on day 46 and put a roof on it as well, which was pretty nice because now I could finally start using it as a mob farm. I then also went to my chickens and stuff because I wanted to get at level 30, so I bred them and then killed them all because it gave me a bunch of XP, which was pretty nice. Then on day 47, I went into the nether to try to get some netherite. I wanted to get at least one piece of netherite throughout these 50 days. I ended up finding one piece of ancient debris on my first bed that I blew up, which was pretty cool. I also got a couple more veins, getting some here and there, and I actually ended up leaving the nether with a total of 6 ancient debris. And I actually found some when I was just randomly mining throughout, which was pretty cool. Then on day 49, it was actually a really big day. I started off the day by killing this enderman and then made a netherite ingot, which was pretty cool. I then went over to my villager and ended up making my silk touch pickaxe netherite, which was pretty awesome. I also got a protection 4 diamond chest plate, which was pretty cool, and then went into the quarry to get some stone because I was going to need more of that to finish the build, which was pretty cool, and I also just wanted to make this one single layer. I then went into the nether and set up a little area to do some trading with my gold because I had a ton of that from mining that for the ancient debris. So I set up a little auto assortment a little bit because it would automatically filter the items in, and then I decided to get a bunch of the piglin into the area so that I could start trading with them. I made this little spot so I could easily throw the gold at them, which worked pretty well, and I ended up getting a bunch of the cool enchantments like Who is Cutting Onions, which you can pretty much only get from trading. Day 50. What may sound easy to some is actually a very, very difficult task. On day 50, I decided to watch the sunset to enjoy the last moments I had in this world. I then decided to add some extra things to my builds to make it a little bit nicer, and then decided to look at all my builds I had made, and the first thing was my house. We had spent a couple days making it, which was pretty cool. I then went over to my mine, which I made in the first couple of weeks. I then went to my farm, which had supplied me with food throughout the series, and also the animals as well. I went to greet my pig, cow, sheep, and chickens because they had supplied me with XP and food throughout the series. I then went to my recent build, which probably won't be finished until the end of the next 100 days, so if you want to see the next episode, make sure to like and subscribe to this video so you can see another one. And I then went to go to my villager trading hall, which I had made, which isn't my favorite build, but it still serves a purpose, and admired my big giant mob farm. I then slept on the end of day 50 to get a final night's rest, and as I woke up on day 51, it was the end of 50 days. If you made it this far into the video, I thank you so much for your support. If you liked the video, please subscribe, it's free, and you can always unsubscribe later, and also like the video as it may help in the algorithm so I can get my channel and my video out to more people. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I put a ton of effort into making it, and I'll see you guys in the next 100 days. Bye.